Oh, oh, that's right. We're live right here this morning. Princess Penny is saying, "Look at me, look at me. I'm on the radio here with thee." That's right. How you doing, Princess Penny? Sitting up here looking so pretty here this morning. Nothing like a quick groom to make you feel beautiful, right, Penny? You want to say hi? Hi, everybody. That's right. Penny loves to say hi. I tell you what, we've been out walking and seeing people. One of the first things she does is sits right there and says, "Hi, Penny. Hi, Mom. How you doing this morning?" So, how are you doing this morning? Man, I tell you what, is it not enough? Is it not enough that we have something at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, right? And now, oh my gosh. And then we have another shooting right here in Greenwood Saturday night. I think it was about 8:15, right there before they actually were getting ready for the Correspondents' Dinner. I I don't know what to think. And here's the other problem, folks. We think we're putting all this emphasis on teenagers, juveniles. Saturday nights, death occurred over two neighbors arguing, I believe it was, over there in Wheatfield, and I guess one of them got mad. I mean, I'm filling in the blanks because I don't have the whole story, and shot the other one, which he died at the hospital. So, and these were 30, the one person was 37. Maybe both of them are 37. I don't remember. But this is a travesty where we think that the way to get to solve your problems is to pull out a gun. So that was another shooting in our area, which is coming right on the heels of this meeting that they are going to have tonight, April 27th, from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Stars 24 Center. They're going to have guest speakers from Chief T.J. Shadone, Mayor Brandon Smith, Jack Logan, Put Your Guns Down, People, Reverend Michael Butler, former police chief, really great guy, Sabrina Miller, Boys and Girls Club, and the list goes on and on of what they are going to try to talk about. Strategies for the prevention of teen violence. You know, I talked to the chief about this the other night, and he was talking about active roles from parents, and he is right. But the problem that I see is that the parents that will show up to this event tonight, the parents that will be interested in stopping this violence, are not going to be the parents that actually probably show up. Now, I'm sure there'll be some of them, but there's a portion of society that just says, "Not my problem." But it is your problem. It is your problem. I commensurate with his desire to have a meeting and maybe get somewhere. Maybe there can be some activities and everything. I think I'm not sure that's really what's going to stop the problem. I don't have an answer on what's going to stop the problem. We can say that it is partially the parents' fault. We could, I guess, take the parents in and lock them up, but is that really going to solve the problem? Many of them have already been locked up. So I don't know what the answer is. I do know that this will probably be the unpopular thing to say. The unpopular thing to say is a lot of this is black. And so why is it black? That's my question. Why is it? I mean, it just hurts your heart to see so many young black people getting either locked up or ending up dead. I mean, what are we going to do about it, Greenwood? What are we going to do about it? So I don't have the answer, but and somebody will probably call me a racist for saying this, but I don't think so. I said all you have to do is look at the pictures, and it's one right after another after another. Not that there haven't been some white or maybe Hispanic, but the majority, I do believe, if one looked at it, would be black, and basically black on black altercations, which is very disturbing, very disturbing. This year, I think I've lost count at how many altercations we had. I think we were up to 3, and then we were at 4, 5, maybe we're at 6. I don't know. I don't know. But this one was 37-year-old, so that has definitely skewed the numbers as far as being all juveniles. This one definitely was adults. So how do we get to the bottom of this? I have no idea. So that's one aspect of it. That was in our community. Then on to the bigger issue, the correspondence dinner. This, as President Trump said, maybe the NFL should have gotten a hold of this guy as fast as he came through the area that was the area before you actually got into the the ballroom for this event. It was pretty frightening. They were really just getting started. Did you know this? What's his name? Alan Cole or Cole Allen? Not important. His name is not important. He should not be getting any positiveness from the media. Maybe he does want that. I don't know. I think it is frightening that this guy from California, just heard he rode the train from California to Washington, D.C. So he had a lot of time to think about what he was going to do. He obviously had planned this out very well. He was a guest at the Hilton, which makes it even more frightening from the standpoint of him being there, having access to the building because he was staying there. But the very fact that he took a train, I guess, with all his guns and whatnot, and came to D.C., had a plan, enacted on the plan, I think right before he went down to make his entrance. Let's call it his entrance. He sent out a manifesto to one of his relatives. Interesting to note that his relatives had actually contacted local authorities. So I don't believe that it had gone up any higher up the food chain, which just makes you think, what would it take for something to be taken up the food chain? And was it in California where this report had been made? I think he has a brother and a sister both living on the East Coast, where they had known that he had bought guns and legally bought the guns. But again, he was the teacher of the month at this school that he was, I believe, a tutor at. So, fortunately, the Secret Service were on it. Nobody other than the one Secret Service was hit. There were no bullets that hit. It seems to me, from everything I have heard, maybe he got one shot off, and then the Secret Service, CIA, they started reacting. And I think when they say 4 shots, I really think those were shots that maybe were fired by the Secret Service. The fastness of how this was done, how they protected people, how they got people under the table, how they got the president, the vice president out of there, and all the cabinet members that were there certainly was very, very, very impressive. The president, of course, was right there at the Hilton there. Kind of gives new meaning to staying at the Hilton, doesn't it? Whoa, okay. Anyways, and he certainly made a plug for why we need a new super safe ballroom to be able to have events like this at. He also was saying that within 30 days, he wants to rehab the event. I think his people are probably saying, oh no. But President Trump wants to have the event within 30 days. So we'll see where all this goes. I would have a couple of questions. They say he was working alone. I would be curious if he what his religion is. What has he been communicating with the all these fringe groups that are trying to bring death to America, the Ayatollah, Iran, just kind of frightening. But I can't imagine being President Trump and having had three attempts on his life. Just amazing. And you got to give a lot of credit to the journalists who were right there in the mix of it, fearing for their own lives, and yet some of them standing up there, or sitting up, I guess, recording everything as it was happening, being journalists. And the other thing is, the after news conference that Trump had, he actually was nice to the media. So I don't know if that's going to signal a difference. Does he feel now that he was not alone? And the effects of this could have affected them? I don't know. But in the wake of this altercation, we'll call it, he seemed to have a much softer view towards the media. Of course, every time you have somebody coming after you, it does kind of change your opinion, doesn't it? So we will see what more information. He is supposed to be in court today for his arraignment. And, of course, Judge Jeanine Pirro was saying that they were going to come up with, as time goes on, they will be coming up with more and more charges that would be appropriate. But the very fact that he was able to get in there that far is pretty frightening. And the very fact that they can't really close this, make that Hilton secure. And yet they go back to the Hilton every time. I mean, this is where Brady was shot years and years ago, that left him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I think, was Reagan coming out of there when he got shot? Very popular place, but take your life in your hands when you go there, folks. Woo! Okay, all right. So that should put a lot of pressure. That will put a lot of pressure on the Democrats to try to pass the shutdown of the government for ICE, Homeland Security, the Coast Guard. Some of these people haven't been paid for 70 days plus. Can you imagine that? Could you go 70 days without a paycheck? I mean, yes, they have been paying some of them, but they have not been paying all of them. And so this will put some pressure. Actually, I think it's going to put pressure on both sides. It's going to put pressure on the Republicans to make sure that they are doing everything possible to try to pull this together. The Democrats are still holding their position. Sure, let's pass it. We just won't pass anything for ICE. I think that's a non-starter for the Republicans. But that's another issue ahead of us. So I thought it was most interesting that Iran has sent a little message. They were supposed to be going to Pakistan to have their meeting, right, with with the Iranians, and the Iranians said, "We have no interest in a meeting. We will not be there." And so guess what? They never went. They stayed right here and didn't even go. And President Trump has now told the Iranians, "You call us, we will be there." But no sense. Now the Iranians have put out a their idea of a ceasefire is we will open the Strait of Hormuz, and we'll discuss the the nuclear issue later. Yeah, right. Like, who's going to do that, folks? What do these people think? We're stupid? Well, we have been for many years. We've been very stupid. That's right. Stupid, stupid, stupid. That's what we have been. So now, here, let me play for you. What shall I play for you? Here we go. Yes, here we go. This is what I have to say to this.
Very interesting.
What do you mean, very interesting? It was stupid.
Yes, it was stupid. But it was also very interesting.
Not as interesting as it was stupid.
Nonetheless, it was still interesting.
Stupid.
Interesting.
All right. It was interesting.
But it was also stupid.
That's my take on that. Where was that from? That was Artie Johnson from Laugh-In. Artie Johnson and Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers. Very interesting. The times we live in, well, here's what I have to say about that.
Have you noticed that things feel a little strange? A little peculiar? That's because we're living in Bizarro World.
Ah, yes, Bizarro World. That is where we are living, in Bizarro World. I will tell you this. I had a really nice weekend this weekend. I also have gotten several nice calls on the interview we did Thursday afternoon with Kip Hunter. I highly recommend that you go back and watch and or listen to that interview. A lot of people that are military people are really enjoying his takes, what he's saying, how he came to his conclusions. It was about him. It was about his life in the military. He had a fascinating life. We're going to have Kip back to come back and talk to us again about a different topic. But Thursday's topic was why doing what we're doing in Iran is the right thing. And so if you didn't get to catch the interview Thursday afternoon, or you only caught part of it, I hope you will go back and watch it. You can catch it right now. I don't think it's on the website. It should be on the website by tonight. You can catch it on Facebook Live. Anybody can go to Facebook Live on this, whether you are a member of Facebook or not. And that's WCRS Radio in Greenwood, South Carolina. Or as of probably by tonight, we should have it up on the website, WCRS1450am.net. I was most impressed, and it was great to talk to Kip. So thank you very much, Kip Hunter, for coming on the show with us and being part of the show. All right, anybody got any comments out there about what we're talking about? We're ready to launch into some new topics here. One topic, I don't know if you heard about the license plate. They've decided to suspend this new license plate, this 250 license plate. I'm not going to go into that one right now because I really want to jump into this one. But I think that's another interesting topic. Yeah, go ahead, just do this. After they've already got it approved, gone through this, probably made who knows how many thousands. They're They're not doing it. I don't know whether they've made them or not, FYI. But, okay. But this is the topic I really want to discuss this morning. Don't know if you caught this or not, but last week, I think it was Thursday, the Senate legislature decided to suspend the liquor license liability law. Okay, did you get that? They just suspended a law for a week. For a year. For a year, they have suspended this, citing too many problems, yada, yada, all this kind of stuff, right? So they just suspended it. Now, let me ask you something. If they can do that after all the angst and everything that we went through, right? How can this... How does this work? How does this work? We just suspend laws we don't like. If that is the case, why are we spending all this time on, for example, the income tax? You know, they want to see if it'll work or not. Why don't we just suspend it for next year? We just won't have income tax for next year. At the end of next year, they can see how the dollars are coming in the coffers, and they don't have to go through this, well, we've got to do this category, we got to balance it with this category, and that's great as long as they, as the revenue keeps increasing, because we're government and we need more money to spend. So why don't they just go ahead and say, we're just going to suspend it for a year? Penny, what do you think about that? I think it's boring. Do you think it's boring? I think it's boring. I want to talk about other things. I have more important things to talk about than suspending laws, Ann Eller. Well, anyways... What do you think about this? What do you think? Do you think that suspending a law just because you may have made a bad choice on it, and then next year they'll take it up and look at it again? Do you think that makes sense? I mean, why did we make this law? Why did we make this law if we were just going to suspend it anyways? I love it. I just love it. So, this is what they've done. They have suspended the liquor liability law, and now they will take a look at it, and during the next year, they'll try to come up with something better. I just am curious, how does this affect businesses? How does it affect bars? And is this really going to make a difference? Is this going to make a difference to them? Yeah, the South Carolina senators vote to suspend a law requiring alcohol insurance for bars and restaurants. I find this totally in this category right here. I'm all for them redoing the law. It certainly has created a lot of havoc. But how do you just go ahead and suspend it?
Have you noticed that things feel a little strange? A little peculiar? That's because we're living in bizarro world.
Yes. Now, here's what's interesting about what the Senate did. The Senate added the clause to their draft of the $15.3 billion spending plan in a voice vote. You know, by doing a voice vote, what does this mean? Nobody's on the hook for saying that they voted for it, folks. That's the thing. When you have an on-the-record vote where each person has to say yay or nay, that's one thing. But they did it by a voice vote, so none of them can be considered complicit in what may happen by not having a liquor liability bill or law, excuse me. It would mean a 1-year suspension of any insurance requirements for serving alcohol, called liquor liability. Whether the clause survives to the final spending plan remains to be seen. The House must still agree. Senate Majority Leader Massey, who proposed the pause, stressed that it's not intended to fix the problem. The hope is that it will force legislators to come up with a solution before the suspension ends with the June 30th, 2027 close of the fiscal year. The Edgefield Republican says he doesn't want to extend it. So, the legislators decided last year they had to do something to lower insurance costs for bars and restaurants, pointing to a 2017 law that required all bars and restaurants that served alcohol past 5 p.m. to get a liquor liability insurance policy that covered at least $1 million in damages in case a customer left drunk, crashed, and injured or killed somebody. The minimum caused premiums to rise and insurers to leave the state, increasing the cost of policies and driving bars and restaurants out of businesses or keeping them from opening altogether. In the compromise reached last year between the House and Senate, legislators left the $1 million minimum in place, but created tiers that bars and restaurants could meet to lower their coverage, and legislators hoped their premiums. For instance, a restaurant, and then it goes on, and we all know what it was. If you did this, your policy, your cost could reduce to this, and this type of thing. Well, the problem is that no insurer actually offers such policies based on what a bar owner or restaurant owner is doing to help reduce it. So the law was useless, really. The problem is that no insurer actually offers such policies, Massey said. That forces bars that might otherwise qualify for the lower cost to continue paying top dollar while premiums keep rising. So, according to Massey, this has been an unmitigated disaster. So, what they're hoping is that by next year they can come up with another plan. So what else could they come up with? Force insurance, I guess one idea would be to have kind of like we have unemployment insurance. Maybe we need to have bar insurance payable through the state, and everybody puts money into that, and that covers them. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Yes. Okay, anyways, but I was just thinking, why don't we just suspend other laws? Does anybody have a law that they'd like to see suspended for a year on its ridiculousness or its inability to do what it should do? Do we have anybody else out there this morning that would like to see a law? I was kind of voting for the income tax one. I thought that might be good. Since they don't know how it's going to work if they actually suspend it for a year, let's just go ahead, try it. You'll like it. Maybe you'll just like it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe they'll learn to cut back because, your spending problem, maybe whoever becomes the next governor we'll just suspend taxes for the first year of my administration. What do you think about that? I kind of like it, folks. That's what I'm going to say. I kind of like it. Live dangerously. Businesses do this all the time. They try different things, and then they say, well, this works, this doesn't work, and then they either go back, readjust. Only when you have government that they have to study on it, they have to figure it out, they have to go back and forth, spend all this money to try to save a dollar. So I like this idea. They're suspending the liquor liability. What does this mean? Does this mean that nobody has to have liquor liability? What will it mean with the insurance companies? Are the insurance companies going to budge on this? I doubt it. It says removing the requirement that bars and restaurants maintain a certain level of insurance for serving alcohol could mean if an accident did happen and the business couldn't afford to pay for it, anyone harmed wouldn't be able to collect what they were owed, several senators said. That's why they did a voice vote. They didn't want to go on the record of saying they were against it. If something were to happen and if it was on that business, we could say essentially no. We could essentially say to those victims that, oh, well, we're trying to fix an issue. Sorry you don't get to recover anything for your damages, said Senator Ronnie Sabb, a Greeleyville Democrat and personal injury lawyer. But the law is punishing bars doing nothing wrong, along with those that likely to overserve a customer and lead to an accident, Massey said. The effect of the General Assembly's action has been to punish all the good guys, Massey said. Sounds like Massey has a dog in this fight. In an attempt to get bad ones, we have more severely punished the good ones. You know, all of that is true, but don't you find that this is something that they're just saying, what the heck, just let it be the wild, wild west. That's why I'm voting for the income tax to be one of the things that they just do away with for a year. Can you imagine if you suggested this? Look at Penny. She doesn't even care. She's just laying there. Can you imagine if we did that? How the senators, but we might not have enough money for all our little projects. I mean, look at how much money we have on hand. Yeah, but we don't want to spend it. We just want to keep it. And then, of course, why don't we just suspend this idea that legislators need to double their pay for a year? Let's just not even take it up this year. Let's just pass on it. You know, actually, the legislature does a good job on that because it has to go from one body to another body, and then if any changes are made, it has to go back to an original body. So this is how the legislature gets around doing things it really doesn't want to do. It just doesn't take them up. Kind of like the abortion bill, which passed out of the Senate with, less than 2 weeks left to go. Do we think that the House is going to take it up? Now, mind you, the House is up for re-election every 2 years, so we got a bunch of them that are up for re-election. In fact, I think everybody in the House is up for re-election. So are they going to take up a very controversial bill that's going to alienate probably 50% of society, since it's basically against women? Are they going to take it up? I will wager here that I'll bet they don't take it up. I bet they won't take it up simply because there's not enough time left. They've got the budget, the reconciliation of that, and other things. So I just wanted to bring that up. I'd love your opinions on what other things we could have as that we could do away with for a year. Just suspend it for a year. Just try it. You might like it. What about that? Yes. Yes. Okay. So somebody commented from earlier this morning when I was talking about our crime problem here in Greenwood, specifically the gun violence that we have here. And I was saying that it is largely black. I haven't seen many Hispanics in this. I haven't seen many whites in this. Not that there haven't been, but I'm just saying it does appear to be basically a black problem. And this person said, you're absolutely right. And that does not make you a racist. You are stating the facts. Interesting enough, though, it's not immigrants and it's not someone trans. Well, there you go. It is a very specific group. I think it's also interesting to go back to this topic. It is also interesting that the police department, the sheriff's department, now I'm not sure about this one Saturday night, since that was an argument that came from two 37-year-old adults. But the other thing is the police department knows the bad actors. Unfortunately, according to the law, they can't do anything to them until they break the law, which, again, doesn't make a lot of sense. But that is the law, and that is your rights. So, anyways, that was a nice comment. Thank you very much for that this morning. But on the issue of suspending laws, I thought everybody would be going wild. Why don't we have hunting season all year long? Let's suspend that law. Why don't we do this? I mean, I could think of 100 things, but I was interested. I really thought the income tax one would get everybody excited. Well, Ann, it's just too ridiculous, and you know it's not going to happen. Really? It could happen. Do you remember there was a comedian? Her name was Judy Tenunu, and she played not a harmonica, Ann. She played what's it called? A piano on your chest. What's it called? Anyway, she played that, and she'd always say, and she had this really weird look about her face. She could really make her eyes bulge out and everything. And she would talk about something, and people would laugh, and she'd go, "It could happen." Judy Tenunu. That was back when HBO had the Women of the Night comedy series. She was a really good one. I really enjoyed her. But it was always, "It could happen." And that became one of my favorite phrases here. And let's see what Penny's doing over here. She is not paying any attention at all this morning, folks. In fact, she's just saying, "This is too boring a conversation for me." All right, I'm Ann Ellert. Penny had a good weekend this weekend. We worked in our backyard here and painted and climbed up and down the ladder 500 times and got something painted that I'm working on in the backyard. So it was great. It was great. All right. Let's see. Let's go check this story out. This is an interesting story right here. Interesting figures on the governor's race. Realize now we've had two debates, and let's see. It's been more than a month since anyone has published truly independent polling data, meaning not coming from the candidate themselves. We use the term decisive because no Democrat has won a statewide race in South Carolina since 2006, and no Democrat has won a governor's election since 1998. So that is why the GOP in the nomination, which will be settled in June, is the race to really watch. According to a survey conducted earlier this month by Walter Wetchell, president of Lexington, South Carolina-based Starboard Communication, four-term Attorney General Alan Wilson continues to lead the field in the crowded six-way fight to succeed Henry McMaster. So Wilson was backed by 20% of respondents in the Starboard's poll, putting him ahead of 5th District Congressman Ralph Norman, who was at 14%. 1st District Congresswoman Nancy Mace is at 13%. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Elvett at 12%. Low Country millionaire Rom Reddy, 10%. And embattled State Senator Josh Kimbrell at 3%. A sizable percentage of the GOP electorate, 28%, said they were unsure or refused to identify a preference in the race per its results. So this company, the Starboard Communications, says they are unaffiliated with any candidate running for governor. Oh, that's why they're doing it, because they used to get a lot of political candidates. Maybe they've got some of the others, but they don't have any in the governor's race. Very interesting. Very interesting. So that is why they were doing the poll. They actually did this poll before the second debate, second debate. This was between April 8th and the 14th, randomly selecting respondents from registered voter lists using a combination of valid landline and cell phone listings. It said the margin of error of the survey was plus or minus 4.4%. But right now, with what Starboard Communications says, Alan Wilson is a solid 20%. Interesting that Nancy Mace was right up there in first place or running very close. Now Nancy Mace is actually at third place with 13%. And Ralph Norman, who back just a month ago was polling at, 6, 7, 8%, is now in second place at 14%. I wonder how he's polling since he made his comment about that he would sign the most draconian abortion law in the country if it came across his desk, when every other candidate said they would not. So I wonder how that will be affecting the polls. That'll be most interesting. Anyways, Ralph Norman, 14%. 1st District Congressman Nancy Mace, 13%. Lieutenant Governor, rather surprising. She was in 1, 2, 3. She's actually in fourth place, according to this poll, at 12%. I wonder if part of what hurt her in that poll was the fact that she did not do the first debate. I don't know. See, a lot of this information could change basically because of the second debate. Ron Reddy, 10%, and Josh Kimbrell at 3%. I don't know if you've seen the latest Ron Reddy commercial, but he talks about career politicians. You know, his big thing is he's a lifetime politician, and everybody else is. Well, here's what's interesting. He didn't even include Josh Kimbrell. He did not include him. He had Alan Wilson, Ralph Norman, Nancy Mace, and Pamela Evatt, which I'd be hard to say that, for example, that Pamela Evatt is a lifelong politician. She got into politics when she was asked by Henry McMaster to be his lieutenant governor. So I really don't see how that follows. But anyways, this is politics, baby. So whatever you got is however you want to do it, right? All right, 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. Did want to tell you there will be no show tomorrow. Ann is going on a big adventure that I will be reporting back on Wednesday. So Wednesday, there also will be no Tuesday afternoon show. It's a really big adventure, and it's something to do with me. How about that? I guess I'll be reporting on my own big adventure. There you go. So I hope you will check that out and be with us here on Wednesday morning. There are more stories, as always, to talk about, but I am going to cut it off here. Do want to remind you of that meeting that is being held at Okay, where did it go? That is being sponsored by the police department. Let's go ahead, and others are going to have a big discussion about it. So let's see if we can get that back up here. I just want to make sure everybody knows about it. Community meeting, strategies for the prevention of teen violence. That is this evening from 6 to 7:30. It is at the Stars 24 Teen Center. Let's see, 125 North University Street at the gym, right here in Greenwood. They're going to have a lot of guest speakers, everything from Sheriff Dennis Kennedy, Detective Bailey Thompson, Councilman Representative Annette Edwards, Sabrina Miller, Reverend Michael Butler, former police chief here in Greenwood, Jack Logan, Mayor Brandon Smith, police chief, of course, TJ Shadone. Everyone is welcome. Your voice matters. Join us for an important discussion on creating a safe environment for our youth. The meeting is open to parents, leaders, and concerned citizens who want to make a difference in our community. I certainly hope this meeting has some teeth to it. It's got something that people can glom onto. Too many times, though, people speak and they just have a meeting to have a meeting. I hope they have a plan. Of something that can make a difference in our community. This gun violence, particularly with teenagers, although I point out Saturday nights was 2 adult males, 36, 37 years of age. So I certainly hope that this has possibilities, some teeth to make it happen. But it takes the whole community here, and unfortunately we don't seem to see the buy-in from the community that is most at risk. So that would be my point. Of note, we are going to have TJ Shadone on in the next week. I don't think we can do it next week. Hopefully we'll get him on the following week to talk about this. Okay, so that's one thing. Also, don't forget, coming up this evening, it is another G. Frank Russell Lunchbox series. They did very well last week. They were very pleased with the turnout from last week. I want to remind you, you do not have to cook dinner tonight. That's right. You can simply go by the RTC Lunchbox. Their food trailer will be set up right there in front of Hobby Lobby. Indigenous Underground will be part of this, so you know it's going to be delicious. And let's go ahead and play that ad. They are going to be there this evening. Take it away. And now, an important message from the students at the G. Frank Russell Culinary School.
Come out Monday for our second RTC Lunchbox Charity Dinner Series.
Come see us at Hobby Lobby Monday, 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
We're doing Indigenous Underground supporting the New Grace Bags of Blessings.
Our menu is a smash burger with fries,
blue cheese bacon jam burger with fries,
black-eyed pea gumbo over wild rice,
rolls, 2 rolls with sauce,
southern nachos with pulled pork.
Come on and see us at Hobby Lobby Monday from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Come on down!
I like it. I hope you're going to get out there and be part of this experience. Don't cook tonight. Just go by there, pick up your food. You'll be glad you did. I do have a couple of the commercials I want to play. Cross Creek Glass, make screens and refixes screens. Take it away. Screens, rescreens, new screens. Do you need screens? Windows or doors? Call Cross Creek Glass, 864-223-3803. Next to the hospice store, 225B North Creek Boulevard. Don't let the bugs in. Get screened at Cross Creek Glass, 864-223-3803. Don't you like my little sound effect there of the fly? Yes, I like it. All right. One more here for the Kentucky Derby coming up this Saturday. This really is an event not to miss. Take it away.
Once again, we're ready for a start. They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Final days to get your tickets to the can't-miss event of the season, the Museum Derby Party, Saturday, May 2nd. Tickets must be purchased by April 30th. Call 864-229-7093. No tickets sold at the door, so come be part of the action. From hat contests, mint juleps, derby food, games, wine pull, and bourbon tasting. Live music by Buckland, plus the fastest 2 minutes in sports. Live on the big screen. The Greenwood Museum Derby Party. Call today, 864-229-7093. Don't miss it.
They're coming down to the wire. He's coming up on the inside. Oh, my goodness. The longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby.
There you go, the longest shot. And now we have Penny on the screen here this morning just hanging out and saying, don't you think it's time we finish this show up? Yes, don't you think it's time? Yeah, I think it's time. Penny, you've been absolutely fabulous here this morning. Well, let's go outside and play Frisbee. That's what I want to do. You want to play Frisbee? You know I do, but first I need my breakfast. Hey, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. I want you to think about this topic and really think hard. Think hard. What other laws could we recommend that they suspend? I mean, why don't we just suspend laws and not even have a government? Let's just not even have them. If they can't do a good job, let's just vote them out, get somebody new. That takes too long. So what can we do? Just suspend laws. I mean, all of the candidates, the governor candidates, are talking about going through and pulling out things that aren't effective anymore. Why wait? This is my question to these individuals. Why do we have to wait? All of them. Nancy Mace is not in our state government, and Ron Reddy was, once he dissolved his group that he had, I think that was a real mistake on his part. But Nancy Mace is not in local state government. Ralph Norman is not in local state government. But guess what? The rest of them are. So why don't they advocate to just get rid of these things that are draconian, oppressive? You know, let's just suspend laws. I like it. Come on. Who's with me on this? 864-332-9355. You realize this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but I'm saying to you, if you can suspend one law, why don't we suspend other laws? I'm really for the income tax. You know, they property taxes. They could try that one. They could suspend property taxes for a year. And they could see how it goes. And if they say, hey, we didn't need to study on this much, we could have gone ahead and just done it. Live boldly. That's what I say. Just do it. Some of this is tongue-in-cheek. You do realize that. I hope you realize that. But I am Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio right here in Greenwood. Penny, are you going to say, you want to say anything as we finish up here today? You're yawning on the stage. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Say hi. There we go. Say hi. We're saying bye. Penny, Penny, Penny. This is my heart right here on WCRS. No show tomorrow, but you'll have Armstrong and Getty. You'll have a full day of entertainment. Sure hope you miss me tomorrow, though. That's going to do it for me. We're now going to drop the curtain. We're going to cue the music. And we're going to say adieu, everybody. Adieu. No. Take it away. That's it.